How you doing, John?
All right. Oh, I didn't even know that thing was on the other day. I saw it that night.
Hey, you still thinking receivership was a bad idea?
I always thought bankruptcy would be going to just screw all the law firms, but
right.
Just cram them down. But
we're gonna end up with nothing, and that's the facts. And these people from Anser, they're not here to help us.
They don't seem to treat all the stakeholders equally.
Well, I don't think they have any earthly idea what a member-owned.
The thing that I didn't understand, well, one of the things, I can, my camera actually told me I can read my computer somewhere. When I was going through that meeting,
Right.
Where they show that $340 service month reward.
Oh, that.
And but it said also no debt. Did that mean that?
It doesn't matter. That
I'm just
one rate was like a 75% increase, and the other rate was 140% increase in our rates.
Yeah, my point was when they said no debt paid.
Oh,
I assumed that CoBank was out of that number. I don't know.
Well, supposedly they paid CoBank with the land funds because
Correct.
CoBank foreclosed.
I don't know when they ran that thing.
I don't know.
And his bullshit about it. Well, we can't say anything about the hack with the numbers because, they don't accept 60-40. Okay.
Hey,
so it's 80-20.
Do you think somebody in here should have told us that CoBank was foreclosing on the loan?
I suspect they sent a demand letter. They didn't foreclose.
No, she verbatim said foreclosed on the loan.
Yeah, but I think they threatened foreclosure through demand.
Right.
Gave a period of cure. That's my opinion.
You missed it.
What's up?
Just out of curiosity. Let me shut the door here.
You're on camera.
I don't care. So I see John coming, or Joe Gemini's coming over here.
Right.
And so my question
I saw
is,
him driving back.
Yeah. So my question is he submitting an application?
Sure he is. Absolutely. And they'll all be happy. They'll embrace him. You can take that to the bank.
I mean, really?
Yeah.
This is fucking bullshit.
All the idiots out here that fought, and I don't mean to call anybody an idiot, that fought this thing being sold to an IOU back in 2020, shame on them. And it's just us that come up here and know what's going on.
And, God love Mary Malden, but, for her to ask the question, it's staring you right in the face.
Yeah. Sup?
Hello.
Sup? Hey, tag-alongs, come on in.
Yeah, the 8 tag-alongs.
Come on, John's a tag-along.
We're the
Hey,
8 of us.
There's Hicks. He's tag-along.
Yeah, we're all tag-alongs.
Come on, tag on long.
Am I innocent so it isn't here in 2020?
No, I don't know.
John, okay, did you get my email?
I don't have email on my phone.
Not email, text. So you didn't, so I texted you. And
No.
you said, hey, I'm sorry if I was on the select few. But I knew.
I lost my text.
Oh, did you?
Apparently Sam.
Did you see my email?
Do that.
I think
Just
you're
got
wrong.
you.
I sent it to Lindy and I haven't seen
Several months ago.
Just now?
Or I was set now, they're not going to use the server.
No, just now?
Hour ago.
Oh,
I got it on the Google now. So I sent it to Google. I don't know if Samson had that was RCS or
Anyway, again, it was just to basically say, what's it? Yeah, I know, I have to read
Say
something.
Samsung messengers, well,
And I don't know what's going to it.
no, there's a couple of days I had these messages that left the messages, and it had to be on the incoming, but it never showed. So I'm sure maybe it's a good time. How would you say that is working?
Right afterwards, right after the kilo meeting. And the reason why I was, did. I guess I'm one of the privileged ones, because I can't remember 2020. It's so long ago. Yeah, that's. We're the 8 tabernacles.
I didn't even know that.
What's up?
You know.
Big. I'm hurting.
You're hurting?
Yeah.
Oh, good, okay. Really, that's what you said.
Those slowed down a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
This is about dipshit. He's got one up here.
Yeah.
That'll work.
Got two. Dipshit, the 3 people answered.
Bruce always says, "Where's dipshit?"
No, they were working, that's why I started.
That's when I turned it off.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Y'all building looks pretty nice.
It's still standing, so that's it.
Here?
Yeah.
He's bugging the spot.
He doesn't need to. He's got them.
This microphone here.
Didn't see that. No, I saw him.
You sitting up here?
I saw him heading. He was here. I suspect. Well, I don't know, but I suspect. He's on there.
No, I wasn't here. I saw him leaving this morning. I saw him leaving it.
So Wednesday we went. That's funny.
And I thought,
Global.
Because
entry.
you have to remember, I watched
Many questions.
the activity.
So the mailer that went out,
My appointment.
he was there
10:30.
pushed at like 10 times in the last couple days. And I called down and said, something's going on. He
License, passport, computer. Says, did your wife have an appointment? Yeah. We'll get it. Yeah. She came in. Passport, driver's license, okay, took my pictures. Fingerprints. Said, okay, you should be getting your information in about 3 weeks. Any questions?
That's pretty thorough.
You know what? We went on Wednesday.
We did it again
today.
I was trimming trees all day. Man, I'm dying. You were? Man, I'm hurting.
I guess
How did she pass?
I guess. I can't be sure. Wednesday. 5 hours. Monday. I got to be worried about or something.
There you go, Michelle.
I don't know.
That's it.
Hold on.
The other side of it. And then that was the very end of it.
You know, it's six guys.
I that stuff in the yard and all over the tree. Really, it just turns it into nothing.
I guess I just would rather get it out.
I hear you.
140 different That's not the problem. After we renewed our free TSA.
I was just going to tell you all.
If you do both, right? You get a TSA, free TSA with it. So we spent like an extra $80 a person. We just signed up for last year.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I couldn't believe, yeah, thinking. He gave this letter. Man, that is.
Did you get letters from any of the golf people? He said they sent one out. Not David.
No.
That caravan that's supposed to be that real estate. Here comes.
Evening.
How you doing? Jumpsies? Did you get the building built? Bobby, are you helping too?
Yeah, he's helping. He's staying out of the way.
The only two that I saw over there for sure was you and Carpenter. That I can see from the distance.
Yeah, Sid's been there 2 out of 3 days. And then, his name Will was there,
Right? Oh, Will McGraw.
Yeah. And then Julie's name Dan. Was there.
Yeah. Just coming in at one time.
A lot of head scratching.
Yeah. They put her on 3 months. Just change your right? Right?
Good to see you.
And as it turns out, I'm pretty good with one.
Make a getaway from here. Yeah, we may have to escape early. We're getting older now.
What do you need to know? That letter, the flunkers are the problem. You met her copy, I think. I asked Lenita to bring copy.
Bunkers are, no, this is.
Did you get one?
No, I didn't get it.
Did you get one? Did you check your mail today?
Email?
Yeah. No, your mail.
No.
Walker sent something out about Patti and Allen.
But yet they won't provide any of the information.
That's right.
Keep screaming and squeaking.
It's all I know what to do.
Yeah, well, we'll scream and squeak with you.
This is a new one.
That's what I'm asking. Around either one of the other. I hadn't seen it. Strange.
Pretty much said it all.
Yeah. What do you say? These people aren't here for our benefit. They just proposed a 135% rate increase.
They They got an extra tree.
That's why they want 135% increase. You're kidding.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Time is 6:07. We'll take a roll call. Scott, are you here? Jeff, are you here? Yes, I am. Brian is here. Where we turn it over to you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Second flag. I raise the flag here. I pledge allegiance to Liberty, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. All right, we're going to open the floor to public comment. Do we have people sign up for public comment today? Yep. Okay. My name is Josie, and I'm the representative for PUC, for the water. And I also sit on the board, POA board. And what I noticed on our general ledger was that the water board has actually billed us for payment twice. So it's a duplicate. Okay, that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say is it's amazing that Brian can deliver a P&L of blanks, but I can email Lori and she can give me invoices and payments. So little concern that we can't get the P&L updated for a full year of last year. And where are we going with this? Because reality is, you all do need some checks and balances here. And, you know, I have been a staff accountant, I've been in financing, so I'm real familiar with not only legal aspects, but also I'm familiar with the accounting. What I see right now is, I can't even put a name on it, to be honest with you. And honestly, I'm appalled that you can show up with blank P&L for the year of 2024 with a smile on your face. I'm amazed. That's all I can say. Thank you. Next name on there? Did you have? Oh, just open the floor to anyone else.
It's right there.
Is it right there? Okay, there we go. Josie went. Danny Flunker.
First, I wanted to thank you all for taking prayer off the agenda because I don't want this building to be struck by lightning while I'm sitting in it. Lanita, did you bring the, like you said on that call, that you would bring Lori Lynn's invoices and AWRs?
What I did with the invoices is had them be put on the website because there were too many to bring them in, so I had them put on the website.
1 month would have done just fine.
But they're on the website.
I hope that y'all go back and look at before when AWR came in, everybody got a giant raise. you need to look at what Lori Lynn was getting paid before and what she's getting paid now, and AWR, what George was getting paid for the same stuff. Everybody got a giant bump, and the board doesn't keep anything in check.
Thank you, Danny. Alan Hicks?
Don't stole my time yet. I'm Alan Hicks, but I'm here tonight to speak for Patti. She couldn't be here. She has to work like a lot of folks do, and that's why we requested these meetings be on Saturday instead of Monday at 6. But, you know, I feel pretty comfortable speaking for her because I've been accused on numerous occasions out here to be Patti's hand puppet. You see that hand right there? It's so in my back, and she controls what I say. So let me read her statement. Ladies and gentlemen, at a recent virtual town hall meeting, Anita nonchalantly announced that we won't be conducting an audit. The reason, ? Apparently, we don't have the invoices or any proper documentation to back up our expenses. I find that hard to swallow, especially considering that our billing clerk, Lori Crantrail, has been at this for 5 long years and has been the primary recipient of nearly every invoice. Let's be perfectly clear, these invoices were a key point in the rate appeal put forth by the former manager, George Burris. So when we're not told that no invoices exist, one can't help but wonder, has Lori been tossing them aside like yesterday's junk bill? Or is there some other explanation for this glaring oversight? It's high time we demand accountability. I propose that we pull all bank statements and dissect every expense to see just where our money has been going. Right. Now let me be blunt, this review should come at no extra cost because Lori should have been coding QuickBooks and properly safeguarding those invoices from the start. This isn't just a minor clerical error, it's an unacceptable display of ineptitude. We deserve better and I refuse to let this slide any longer. Thank you.
I would like to clarify that.
Thank you,
since my
Patty.
name was brought up. It was never stated that there was no invoices. What was stated was that the financials were not clear and some things were not coded correctly of what belongs on water expense and what belongs on the wastewater expense. So I would never say that there were no invoices. Clarification. Okay.
And Anita, can I add further clarification? You see my email that we received from Lori today, and I sent it on to both you and Christy, of all 2023 invoices and checks that were paid. It's in a big zip file. I got wind of that, I'm like, now I know we have them.
Yes.
Just like
We have to
Ms.
dissect
Bunker,
it.
yeah, you gotta dissect.
We've got to
Just
dissect
like Ms. Bunker said, that they're there, they were sent up to you and Christy this afternoon.
Yeah, and some of the things, we're gonna have to figure it out, dissect it, it's put into a lump sum, and that can't go into the rate case right now. What we're learning as we speak to the PUC, it has to be properly dissected. So that's the issue that we have, not that there's no invoices. Julie Newman?
My name's Julie. I also serve on the POA as currently the president. I'm also the chairman of the credentials committee, so that wasn't on the agenda. So one of the things I wanted to ask was, has there been any more discussion on the D&O insurance? Because that makes a difference for somebody putting in their application. To date, Jody can correct me if I'm wrong, we have not received any applications whatsoever. So we have a deadline coming up in March. My other question kind of follows behind what Patti brought up. I wanted some clarification on Lori. You just got in mentioning that the invoices go into QuickBook. Then you said at the last meeting, not the town hall, that you all were in control of the checkbook. So when a check has to be written, who's writing that now? And is that being recorded in QuickBooks along with everything else that she supposedly is keeping track of?
Now we do have control. That happened a few weeks ago, I believe. No one's writing a physical check. The checkbook is not being utilized. What they are ACHs and also bill payments. So that's what's happening now. And we are in charge of overseeing those things.
But who's the one that authorizes the bill
On the
pay?
agenda item.
It has to go through the,
Yes.
what,
We have to
so individual
authorize
input?
it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so then that gets recorded in QuickBooks, so again, back to what Jeff said on the file that you recently got, that should have the copies of all the invoices that have been done to be able to do some reconciliation.
And we're gonna get up to speed on all the new stuff is gonna be in order. We have Christy Conley, Central Bookkeeping, working very closely with the accountants now, and working very closely with Lori to get things figured out. But there are some things, some checks and balances, as was stated before, that needs to be done and needs to happen. So we're working very closely in doing that. There is issues in the past, however, and that's why it wasn't nonchalantly, but we can't have an audit if it's not correct. The accountants can't do it, it just can't do it. So we have to get things in order before a proper audit can be
Well,
done.
and let's be clear, people use the word audit and it can mean a lot of things. When we refer to the audit, we mean the audit of the annual financial report, not just Bill comes through this, but there is a process the independent accountants have to go through to meet certain standards to issue what's called an unqualified opinion. And to do it, they've got to have copies of contract, copies of this, copies of that. This is what they don't have in their possession, at least based on our last conversation with them. So they can't do that. They could issue probably an unqualified audit, but that's not a lot of the value. So that's what we're trying to satisfy, is their need for additional information. They've suggested we convert to a cash system. You can do it, that's not just let snap of fingers and do that. That affects a lot of things you do. So we're still in that discovery mode with them, because there's a lot of things it could have been done differently. They weren't, so we have what we have. What we have to decide is how much of that time we spend going back to try to figure that out, versus how we make sure going forward that can't happen again. Because to do that can be done, it takes time and it takes money. And who pays for that? You do. So what we're trying to do is weigh a balance and have a real compromise here to make sure we go forward. We can assure not just PUC, but we can assure you everything's being accounted for. The number we put in the right boxes. Because we want to make sure that we're showing you not just what it takes to run the system, but how it's being accounted for, how it's being spent, so we can tell you where your dollars are going.
Okay.
That's what we're trying to focus our time on.
And then my question on the D&O insurance, I didn't hear a
D&O
response on
insurance
that.
right now, we're still looking at it. The problem right now is that you don't have enough to pay the bills, the actual bills right now. There's just not enough money. So there's,
The other problem with the insurance is the other thing. They generally want to have a very detailed, discrete asset list. We don't have that. So we're trying to say we're having a new contract operator work to try to take an inventory of everything we own, how old it is, when's it up for renewal replacement, and so generally when insurance companies guess on a premium, guess how they guess. They guess high to cover any mistakes. So we're trying to make sure we figure it so we can give the insurance carriers really good, reliable information on what it is we're asking them to insure and cover.
The insurance that we had previously, you don't have a record of what was provided to them for this backup that you're
we
talking
have
about?
property insurance right now. The biggest issue.
I know, but the previous, they did have DNOs
Yeah.
some time back there.
Yes.
No, they'll write you, but they're gonna estimate it. And when they do, they give themselves the assurance that they're not gonna be exposed.
Okay.
So there's no D&O?
No D&O.
And if something happens, who, just trying to understand this, who's held liable, y'all or them?
The entity is still liable.
So you two, and you're not insured?
We have our own professional liability insurance, yes.
Can I please run real quick? Somebody, I don't know if it's relevant to this meeting or not, but I just got a text from a number I don't recognize that says, hey, there is no sound.
That's Tammy, there's no second.
There's no, so apparently,
Yeah.
So we pause.
Yeah. You want to pause so we can?
While we're waiting, could maybe we find out who that gentleman is and who that
that gentleman is? Just so we know who you are.
Yes.
Thank you.
Have you introduced yourself?
Sure, okay. So, good evening, I'm Rogelio Rodriguez with the Water Finance Exchange.
A little louder, please.
Sure, I'm Rogelio Rodriguez with the Water Finance Exchange, and I was on the call on Saturday, and I'm the guy that helps put together the pro forma, analyzing a lot of the financials, putting together the cash flows, and communicating with the PUC regarding the cash flows. My background is finance. I spent 25 years in finance, working for big banks, regional banks, local banks. So I have a lot of background in public finance and municipal finance.
Thank you. You, sir? You, sir?
I'm Robert Sheets with Accenture.
With?
Accenture.
Oh, okay,
Our
thank you.
firm.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
I've been in the water industry.
Okay.
That's why I have all the gray hair.
Okay.
I've been a law turn, now let it just turn for.
Were you with Anderson before?
Was I before?
With Anderson?
Yeah, Answer, yes. And
You were with
Answer,
Anderson.
And before that, government services group. So
Okay.
this is all I've done.
So you were with Arthur Anderson?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you said yes.
Accenture are our partners.
Accenture was spun off from Anderson.
Accenture bought Anser.
I know
Answer
that.
advisor.
Yes.
2 years ago.
I know that. Okay, thank you.
Robert Sheets was at the first meeting, he's the water guru, so.
He's the water guru.
Oh, well, we have two water gurus.
And how do you spell your last name?
SHEETS.
Oh, okay.
Sheets.
Does it work now?
I'm checking.
Okay.
Hey, Lenita, one more thing, and I didn't bring it, I had printed it out, forgot to bring it, but on the, talking about records and nonprofits, I meant to bring it and read it. There's an Safford-Oxford Act on nonprofits, it's federal law, that you have to have records retained for a pretty good long period of time, and it's actually a criminal offense for not having them.
Yeah, retention policy.
We have a retention policy here, I think it's a shredder.
Thank you, Dan.
He's commenting, you see.
You've got to, okay.
Okay, I'm on there.
Thank you.
They're trying to see if they got the sound.
Danny, did you get sound on yours? Danny? Do you have sound?
Mine always works. It's Brian that seemed to have trouble.
Yeah. Just so you
Mine
know.
is self.
Just want to make sure we.
Trust me, it's picking up everything we're talking about right
We
here.
got it on.
We'll continue because I know I've had you guys at a meeting.
Yes, still the recording of the meeting.
Okay, still recording?
Yeah.
Okay,
This is the Twitch, that's the reports.
Okay, got it.
all right. Anyone else want to speak that's not signed up?
Yes, I'm on here. I'm Janet Crowe, a 30-year member of Water Corporation, and I wanted to request, please, if there's going to be another town hall, that you use the usual communication email addresses that the water company has, the Water Corporation. An old email address was used for me. My husband didn't get a notification.
Good.
And it was not clear what the date even was. I didn't open that old email for getting emails and readings until after the meeting had occurred. And so the reason there were not many people attending that meeting could have been also because others were not notified. And the only way to even find the date that this was going to be was at the very bottom and a mail attachment to open that, which opened calendars. And not everyone has calendars.
So it wasn't an updated list for you, it wasn't an updated email for you?
I had a correct email address with the Water Corporation,
But that one wasn't used?
that was not used.
Okay.
And it only said Windermere Oaks Virtual Town Hall Meeting. It didn't say Water Service Corporation. So it was not clear that it was going to be a water board.
I will second, I had no idea that that meeting occurred. And I get all the notices about these meetings, so.
I didn't get any notice about this meeting, I didn't know there was a meeting.
Thank you for bringing that up, because one of the hardest things is to have good current contact information, because we want to get the information out. We want, to me, the town hall is probably the most productive use of what we're trying to convey, because it's in a forum where we're focusing on particular issues. We can share issues with you, you can ask the questions. So anything that you can suggest that we might can do to make sure we've got current contact information, we certainly appreciate those suggestions.
I have no idea what list was used in sending this out, because it's not what the Water Corporation is using.
Interesting, okay.
I'm sorry, how would you know, Janet? I'm curious, how would you know?
Of course, you'd like to make
I
a
would.
correction.
I would like to know.
I
How
would
you
know
would
what the.
Your email address is one thing, but not having the correct list is what I'm hearing you say?
I
Hey,
asked.
so in the future,
Was used.
in the future, can we get more than a 24-hour notice? And can y'all use another application, because that was very difficult? I didn't have the thing on the bottom.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
That Microsoft Teams was very difficult. I did not have the two arrows at the bottom that you said were on there.
Yeah.
Some people did, some people didn't.
What is the best technique for you guys?
Zoom.
Okay. Zoom.
I was literally on the wrong page most of the time.
I get you. Okay. We'll utilize Zoom. You can get Zoom or Windermere.
Well, this is the first, it won't be the last.
No.
Okay.
And again, no decisions were made here. We just wanted to provide information and make sure you were engaged. So.
Well, we need more than
Yeah, it wasn't a board meeting, but I am very, very happy that the people attended. We had really good communication in chats and Q&A, so I am saddened that some people did not get it. So we will make sure that the next one, which it will not be the last, it's just the first, we will make sure that it's different. And if there are any sort of suggestions for you to make it better, please don't hesitate to let us know.
I would,
More than 24 hours.
yeah.
They're able to hear that.
They're able to hear now?
Yes.
Okay.
So Michelle's saying that we need additional time other than 24 hours, like 3 days. I think based on water board compliance, you should do 72 hours notice.
Yeah, that's for a board meeting, but it's for the town hall.
Yeah.
If you want a successful town hall, you're gonna have to give people a heads up.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So
So
there are
72
other
hours.
things we can do to make the
Yeah.
next one better.
Yeah, exactly.
We're committed to do that.
At least give me a chance to get my tag-alongs to get in line.
No, we want everyone to attend, literally, everyone to attend, so.
I let you down, Shumsky.
But we would like you to.
There'll be no test at the end.
I'm gonna pass it over to the board for discussion and possible action for vacant board positions. You're okay with, okay?
Oh,
Is there anyone interested in joining the board at this time?
There you go.
I'd like to present mine and Patty Flunker's applications for the current open position.
Thank you.
awesome, yeah.
Excellent.
Can I ask one question? I never speak up, but I was just a question. You're the money chaser, right? You can chase bucks, you can find out where stuff went. I've only been here 6 years, and it's been nothing but a joke and a fiasco. We've watched hundreds of thousands of dollars disappear, unaccounted for. Nobody will provide anything. We can't get any kind of an audit. We can't seem to get anything. Nobody will provide anything. And so my question is, are you here to represent us as the owners, or are you here to protect them so they don't get caught with
You are
their hand in the cookie
You
jar?
are the owners. Our responsibility is to provide financial, accounting information that is shared with every member of the Windermere Water Supply Corporation.
Thank you.
That's our job.
Thank you.
According to all the laws, statutes that we know. Will we be 100% perfect? No. But we will make sure that we can tell you how the money's being spent, where it's being spent, and what you're getting for that money that's being spent. Now, you may say we're spending it wrong, but you will at least know that's what it's being spent on.
We're sick of this.
All right. These are the applications for and this is for, is this gonna be for the election, Allen, or is it for now?
Open positions, right now.
Right now,
Right now.
okay, all right. So I'm assuming the board votes on these?
We can vote on it.
Yeah, all right.
Beyond the application itself, is there anything y'all
No,
like?
they were just there. Can we just, can we go on to the next item and then come back to it?
Yeah, we can go. Sure. All right. Discussion and possible action regarding the 2025 temporary rates. There will be no action today on the temporary rates. And as we spoke about in the town hall meeting, there's a lot of reviewing of the numbers that's being done currently. And I would like to turn it over to Rogelio so he can give you sort of an update on what we've done thus far and looking at the numbers and what needs to be done in the future.
Sure. So, first of all, what I didn't say earlier is I did say I'm with Water Finance Exchange, right? We're a 501c3 not-for-profit, and we help communities figure out things like this, right? What are our finances? What are we capable of affording? What is the capital need? Can I go to the state? Can I go to the federal government for some funding, right? All those things kind of hovering around finance and cash flow modeling are what I do, right? We also have operators, regulatory people, right? So we come to communities and we work with about 65 communities in Texas, a lot of them water supply corporations. And so that's what we do, right? You can look us up at waterfx.org, and that's who we are.
Can you repeat again, please? Right here.
Say what now? So in talking about what we covered a little bit on Saturday and where we are, so I took the last 5 years of financials, right? I broke them all down into all the different categories. I looked at additional categories that we're going to need, like a real line item for an auditor, not just accounting, right? Took all those items, broke them down between water and sewer, right? Calculated the rebate on a monthly basis for the next, 45 minus 11 months, and put that into the pro forma, right? I also looked at what the needs were for water operations, chemicals, you name it, over the last 5 years and kind of going into the future. And made sure that all this conformed to the current PUC documents that are out there, right? So a lot of communication with the PUC, a lot of discussion about what rates are, what they look like, does it conform with the documents, does it conform with what the PUC has laid out?
Is this the document we're looking at?
Yes, okay, yeah.
A lot of people don't have it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So this is on the backside. Yeah, it is.
Okay, yeah.
Sorry about that. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's all right, that's all right. Yeah, I'll wait for you guys to get it.
Small.
Yes, it's really small, because there's a lot of line items. Because remember, I looked at the last 5 years, right? So there were some things 5 years ago that don't exist today, but I wanted to line item them because I needed to make sure that there was room, should there need to be a budget item for that thing going forward.
Take a picture of it on your phone. Yeah.
Well, I was a little startled to see like a 75% increase in one column and 130-something% increase in another column.
Yeah, those are wrong.
Okay.
Those are wrong.
When we were having the town hall,
Yeah,
because the screens weren't there, I had to go back and look at it.
yeah, those are wrong. Those are wrong. So let me back up. Let me make sure everybody gets a copy that I can go through it.
And I hope that they go through I'll send them to you, I have them, the old operator expenses
Yeah,
and the new ones. Cleaning the office, $400.
yeah.
Sorry, that doesn't work. There's nothing to clean up, it's just tagging us with something, cutting the grass. If we're gonna sub that out, we can get the people that mow our community to do it for a whole lot less than $2,500.
Oh my God, you kidding me?
And that was something that Renee and Jeff swore they were gonna look at way back when. It's something they just kind of,
Okay, everybody should have a copy now. So yeah, this is, everything in black font is a 5-year average. However, it excludes anything that's that is what we call, like, what I looked at as an anomaly. For example, when the barge broke, right, there was an expense to that. Well, that's not gonna happen every year, so I don't put in a budget line item for it every month, right? So there are certain things that were exceptional items that didn't carry forward, but everything in black is the average of your last 5 years, right? That's a PUC direction. We asked them, how do we create this 2025 budget? And they said, if you don't have the actuals, then use a 5-year average. So we did that. Everything in black fonts a 5-year average. The green that you see on top are going to be water and wastewater revenue projections, right? We don't know what they are yet. This is at your current rates, right? So we don't know what they are yet. The water credit and sewer credit are the rebates, and those rebates have been calculated for the PUC, right? The 40 some odd dollars, the $32 every month for people that have been here for the 45 months, and taking into consideration those that moved down and how long we were here. So we did the calculation for every month for the next 45 months, or 45 minus 11. So those are in there, and that's shown as a negative revenue. And then we added in there some other line items like chemicals, right? We're not clear on what chemicals are, what the chemical cost is. It's not broken down that way in every invoice to give us comfort that we can know what that number is. So we estimated that number.
Can I ask you a question there?
Sure.
My understanding is the water management company who we are hired and paid for, I'm under the impression they're using their chemicals and their materials to check or to make sure that our water is clean and
No, we pay for
drinkable.
And they're charging that through the operations budget?
I'm asking you.
I don't know, but that's what I'm telling you. It's not clearly defined.
Gotcha.
And so we have to clearly define it because some of those chemicals are for water and some of them are for sewer.
Do you
Right.
have the invoices since they started?
I don't. No.
And so does the board have those invoices since they started?
You're talking about AWR, Josie?
Yes.
Yes, the
So-
hang on, let me finish. The temporary management team has had all invoices in a Dropbox since November 18th, 2024.
I
Everything
have
that
those
AWR
invoices.
did.
I have those invoices.
She has those
And
invoices, so
what
yes.
we've done, and
Detail.
and the bookkeeper has gone through
Yes.
them, and what has been determined, and she used that information to Rogelio. What she has done is looked at them and said, are there any chemical charge this month? Already, what's going on this month, what's going on that month? Some months you will see chemicals, but very few and far between. And then we had, US Water question AWR about the chemical usage. And what they found is like some chemicals are 3 years old and they have like a huge container of this chemical. So we're checking to make sure the chemicals are still good, they're still, what's the shelf life and different things like that. And then there's sometimes we believe that they purchase chemicals, but you cannot define it in the
I'm
invoice.
sorry, I can't hear anything you're saying because there's other people talking and I can't hear you. Sorry.
Yeah, would people please show
Yeah.
respect and courtesy, and let's have one person talk at a time, and not a bunch of talk amongst themselves, we
Thank you.
appreciate that.
And I'll repeat myself as well. Thank you. So what we've done, our center bookkeeper has been looking at the invoices and feeding information. And one of the things I've asked her is like, show me how much chemicals are, because we need actuals. We need actuals to figure out what to put in the projection here. And what she hasn't been able to find is good numbers on chemicals. So she went through the AWR invoices. Sometimes there would be chemicals there, sometimes not. Maybe it's mixed in with another cost, so it's not clear. And that's kind of what I was talking about on the town hall, is that we're trying to figure this thing out. The numbers are there somewhere, but we have to find it and extract it, and maybe it's there, but we can't extract it because it's been mixed into a bucket, and we don't know what's in that bucket. So that's kind of what we've been going through, because we can't do a good projection without knowing that. And some of the chemicals we found, was speaking with US Water, I stated before, is 3 years old. So we're checking shelf life. It was a huge container, so it still was being utilized, So that's the sort of thing that we're doing. So we're reviewing all those things, and then we're feeding information into Rogelio for his model.
Thank you, because no one would run their business the way this has been run for the last 10 years. I've looked at the invoices and there's just a big charge.
Yeah.
And it's not specified what it's even for most of the time.
Can I say something? Has the board seen this before now, the board members? I gotta tell you, sir,
Who was on the top?
I practiced accounting for 30 years,
Yeah.
and giving this to me and listening to you is like French, and I don't speak French. There's more here than there's a lot
Yes.
of junk here, and what you say is so fast, I think it's worthless to me. If it's good for these folks, they can go ahead, but I can't comprehend what you're doing, having received this 5 minutes ago.
No, I
This
understand.
is, it's useless for me so far,
Well,
what you said.
Yeah, so we're not asking you to do anything with it other than to review it and ask questions about it. And you don't have to do that today.
No.
But we're not leaving today, so.
So I would suggest that you just leave it with us at the next meeting, maybe we'll be able to digest it.
Great.
But,
Yeah, that's fine. And it's on the website too if you want to make a printout.
Fine.
And if you want to have another town hall, it's fine too. I don't know if you attended that, but I think that it was productive and people were able to.
But what we hope through a process, this is all we have to start with.
The gentleman was going in detail, and I don't think any of us were getting anything out of it. So I just suggested.
I was, Marvin.
Okay, good for you, darling.
That's why
I'm happy for you. I'm not as quick as you are, Joe.
One person at a time.
What date were these?
But we can't hear y'all.
What date were these done? When was this put together?
Thursday.
Okay, well, I have a real big question. If my memory serves, Jeff Walker went down to the PUC Friday and said that they had $500,000 in the bank from the land sale, and this says 168.
Well, that's the net after the bills. Yeah.
No, but he said there was 500 grand in the bank on Friday after this was printed.
Yeah, and there is 500,000 in the bank currently. But we haven't approved, the board hasn't approved paying of the other items. The AWR pass due, the pass due to Carlson, the pass due to the accounting firm, so on and so forth. So that's gonna be quite a chunk of money to pay out of that amount. And what's gonna be left after paying all the past due bills is 168. And that's what us withholding to a 22% potential tax impact. The federal income tax. We don't know what that number is gonna be, to answer your question, Danny, but we're holding back 22%, so Windermere's not hit in the back, and it's like, we don't have enough of that. So.
Lenita, you're holding 22% of the total land sale?
It's in the bank account.
Well,
We're not
I
holding it.
know you're not holding it, but
Right.
the bank's gonna hold it, and you're gonna throw that into that money market account that's generating 3.4%
Until it comes.
So since I was not aware of the town hall, so evidently the land sale is done.
The land sale did complete, it completed last week, I believe. Wednesday, last Wednesday.
No appraisal.
Yeah.
And with that, and we talked about this as well, and my apologies, CoBank required a payment within 5 days of the $559,000 was due and owing to them. They were not given an extension in time to pay. If they would have given an extension in time, there would have been a lot of rules, there would have been an increase in the interest rate, which would have been ludicrous.
Shorter amortization.
So,
I'm good with you paying off some debt. What I am not good with is you paying off legal fees. They created, and we can continually go down the same path. That's an issue for me, and I'm gonna be very verbal about it. The other thing that I'm gonna be verbal about here is Highland Lakes newspaper. Lori Cantrell, she hasn't been getting paid, really? MBB, I don't even know who that is.
That's the accountant.
Then you've got TRAW or TRWA for 500.
Texas Rural Water.
And then, obviously, Enro, I don't know who that is. Who is it?
So for the record, we can cancel TRWA They don't do anything for us. It's a waste of money. We pay it every year.
Those are board decisions going forward.
I know.
So the bill that we owe to AWR is something that I definitely want to see paid. And the reason I want to see that paid is because that's a bill that comes back to the members as payment due from us. Not them, but us. So I'm hoping that with your experience and know-how, that I'm understanding that you have the experience and know-how, that you will not just leave it up to this board, because we're very unsure about where the money has been going for the last 5 years. We had a $678,000 check from an insurance company that supposedly went to legal fees, okay? So I want to address something with regards to that for Lloyd Gosling. When Lloyd Gosling was at the PUC and they were in front of the commissioners, they said they do not, that they are paid in full. However, Jeff has come up with a $500,000 and some change legal bill from them. So I encourage you to look at, and I've said this on numerous occasions, to look at the PUC records so that you can get some clarity. Because listening to our board isn't going to do it for you. Thank you.
And we did have a conversation with Lloyd Gosling recently. I personally had a conversation with him trying to get the bill down because to me it's unreasonable for a size of this entity to have that much of a legal bill with the surcharges. They have proposed, and they have proposed before, I heard $478,000, which I still think is ludicrous. So still gonna work with them to see if we can get that number down to at least 300,000 or so.
Again, they said in front of the commissioner, and there's plenty of record, that they were paid in full at a meeting with the commissioners. I encourage you
No, I understand
to
what
go
you're
back
saying.
and look
Yeah,
at it.
I understand what you're saying. I'm not sure what they were paid in full from, what they were talking about, and so on and so forth. So I would love to have a conversation with you to kind of point, if you know the time frame in which they said this.
I'll get it for you.
Okay, thank you.
So I just want to summarize by saying, so when we showed this to the PUC and told them, look, we are ready to come to you, and then go to the PUC with a proposed rate adjustment with surcharges and everything. The PUC looked at this and said, it's wrong.
Right.
I said, well, how is it wrong? You use a 60-40 allocation, 60% of the revenues or expenses have to go to water, 40% of expenses have to go to sewer. And I said, but that's what's in the PUC docket, a 60-40 split. And she said, yes, it's incorrect. You have to go back and you have to reallocate these things properly before we will accept your rate proposal. And that prompted the town hall on Saturday to have a discussion about where we are with the PUC, where we are with the rate discussion. So that's what needs to happen now, right? We gotta dive into this. So this is just kind of laying out a budget, right? It's not an accounting thing, it's not a GASB gap thing, it's really just money in, money out, right? So this is to identify where that money in, money out goes. Now we have to dive into this and divide it up properly between what expenses are truly water and what expenses are truly sewer, using invoices and prior accounting software, printouts and all of that, in order to accurately calculate the rate.
And that requires an accountant to do this.
But let me be the devil's advocate here.
Right, I know.
Because we're talking to the PUC tomorrow. We cannot wait to get perfection to submit the new tariffs. You're broke. We can't pay the new contract operator. We can't pay anybody. We have to put new tariffs in place. And if we have to wait for perfection, you can turn off the lights.
Well, let me ask you a question. How much are we talking about?
We let everybody else talk. Let me finish. We have to do that. they have to accept the best we can do now. Now, if they want to give us 90 days to refine the split, but we will, but we cannot wait to file a tariff. Will it be perfect? No, that's why it's called a temporary rate. But you have to have money to operate. I'm not talking about lawyers. I'm talking about, we're talking about your contract operation, your electricity, your things like that. So that's gonna be our conversation. So we have difficulties on both sides of the equation. Because the PUC, we cannot provide them with perfection at this point. We come at the best numbers we have. We know going forward, they're gonna be accurate. They're gonna adequately describe, but we have to go forward with that. With that, we represent you. You have to have a system that can function, can pay the bills, can pay the operator. We can make it better as we learn more. But again, this is why these are not emergency rates. These are temporary rates. These rates are there for the next 10 months. 10 months. So we learn more and can do more. So it's really important that we help you understand that, because we have to convince the PUC. Now, what happens once it's submitted to them? It goes to the regulatory group. So I'm sure they're going to go through every line on that area and ask us to explain it and defend it. And that's going to be our responsibility to do that.
I was just gonna say that you might prepare yourself for their response.
Can you speak up, I think?
Okay. I was just gonna say you might prepare yourself for their response, because one of the many cases that Carlton Law Firm has lost at the PUC over the last few years, something similar, they went back to him and presented ratepayers, he was representing ratepayers, and he was told, "You're a smart guy, figure it out." You might be able to.
He was representing Bear Creek side.
He was,
For all those things that have happened in the past, doesn't help us. We are gonna be the ones before the PUC have.
I'm just saying you might be ready.
I'm sympathetic to this, because I know there's been a lot of things said, alleged, done, that doesn't help our case. It's gonna be us defending these numbers to the PUC, not the lawyers, not this, not that. It's gonna be us. So we have to know that we know where they came from and they're confident. But we'll get there. I'm not worried that we won't go get it, we will, but we've got to have the PUC have the latitude, because if this was an issue in the last pilot, it was never mentioned in the reason why they denied it. This allocation was never an issue made by the PUC. They're gonna have to explain that to us. They were reasonable people. Did they just stop when they got to the lawyer fees? Did they just stop there? So we understand why it was okay then, but it's not okay now. So we can get them, to get the concessions we need from them, to get tariffs in place that will support the day-to-day business of the water supply corporation. Harrison?
Yeah, and I know folks worry about the legal fees, and just wanted to let you know that in here, in this performa, it's only $3,150 for the year.
That's good.
For legal fees.
I'm good with that.
That's it.
We spent
So-
$2 million.
Yeah, that's it. Now, will it probably exceed that? Yes, but we cannot put that in here. This will not, the PUC will not let that happen anyway, right? But our job as a team here is to make sure that we minimize as much legal costs and legal fees as possible. That is this is our delivery. We have to do that. So we have $3,150 for the year. The things that are in here are necessities. This is only necessities. And this is not one-time things like what Leo said, the barge issue, so on and so forth. We're having the operator in here. We're having the electricity in here, so on and so forth. So if you take it home, delve into it, you'll see that these are only necessities to operate.
And one of the points we didn't make, and we should have, we intend to have the contract operator here at either a board meeting or a town hall meeting. So you can meet them, you can get to know them, you can ask them questions. You'll find these people are phenomenal at the job they do. We know that because we've used them in 30 other places, and they are superb. So you'll have a chance to talk to them, meet them. We hope you're nice to them when you see them on the street. Don't throw anything at them. So you're going to know who these people are too. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, would you repeat your name?
My name?
Yes.
I'm Jeanette Rosas.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, and it may be on here, but it's hard for me to see.
Yeah.
Out of the 1,250,000 for the land sale, how much of that has been, have we received that money? How much of that money has been allocated towards legal expenses?
None towards legal
Okay,
expenses.
but Cobank has been paid off?
Kobe.
Okay, all right, okay. And yet you're still saying that what we have in the bank is less than the 500,000?
It's about 75,000 for broker fees, right? And then it was 559,000 in regards to Cobank payoff. So that is already 600 and something, so it may be, I don't know what the exact number is right now, but.
Would you like me to repeat?
Yeah,
I just looked at the bank account. So there's $655,312 in the account.
But of that amount, we're obligated to pay off the past due bills for AWR.
Yeah, hey, Robert, one last thing. There's 54,000 that needs to be moved in there because there was 54,000 sitting in that reserve money market
Yeah,
fund.
good point.
That I did talk about at the last meeting. That reserve fund was for Cobank. We can take that out and move it in. That gives you a total of $700,312 in the bank today. But we also in the bank has $117,000 in a money market account for the membership. So please don't, those are two separate accounts. And the money market account is for membership fees, just in case all 300 members leave, we gotta pay back their membership fees. We never touched that fund. It just got moved to a money market account with a little higher percentage rate on it.
So when you think of the 168, that's gonna be potentially left over after paying all the bills, potentially maybe more. Then you add the 54,000 onto it, then you get over 200 something thousand left.
And the tax implication.
That will be,
That's
that will be
tax implication
unencumbered.
done. That's without the tax implication.
And
So
how
the
could
tax
that go
implication could be less.
For our water treatment plant,
Well,
going out somewhere else.
This will be your reserve fund, or the beginning of a reserve fund.
And I would caution that right there, is that it will be your reserve fund if you can get temporary rates in place to be able to pay the bills. If not, it'll be a fund that's utilized to pay bills that can't be covered with rates.
So with regards to the refunds, I mean, I know that there was a point where you guys were gonna do a temporary suspension. And is that not gonna happen? Is that an option for us to look at instead of, I mean, you know, going $382 based on last, your town hall meeting, which I'm having a hard time swallowing as a consumer and as a member of this
How
community. 382.
For a water bill?
Yeah.
So he already said that wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah,
But
that's
I'd
not-
like to piggyback on what Josie's saying.
Yeah, that's
6
not-
weeks ago, we were here, and everything was messed up. The surcharges, 20, 30 people weren't getting charged a surcharge. Has that been figured out? Because you know that Patti and I are gonna dig into this to make sure it's right.
Good, that's great.
All right?
No, yeah.
Because we're the ones that figured out people weren't getting charged a
Yeah.
surcharge. Everyone is supposed to get charged a surcharge.
Yes, indeed.
But then I think the question was also about the setting aside those refunds denied.
Yeah, and so that's both of those things. We're talking about refunds and surcharges, both. It was denied by the PUC to set those aside. It was denied. So we're trying to figure out the appropriate place to bring that forward again, so we can do exactly that. Straighten out who's being charged, who's not being charged, all of that, because that has to be figured out. And also the refunds, making sure it's with the right folks, and like even folks, I know this is something the board brought up, folks that aren't getting refunds because they moved away, and then they're not getting their refunds. So there's so much to figure out here that a pause to me is the only option. So we are gonna have to refile that, but in another docket, to be able to get that.
So this is your people that are handling this and not them or Lori Lynn?
Well, it is Carlton that has to file it because
No.
Carlton is on.
I'm talking about the
Yes,
refunds
yes.
and surcharge thing.
Yes, we will be.
Because they are the ones that
auditing.
created the
Yes,
problem.
We will be auditing.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
So again, I'm gonna state that I had no problem getting documentation for the water, the POA company, for last year. So I would assume that if I can get it, you all can get it. with regards to who's being charged and who's not being charged. I understand it's an enormous task. One that I'm sure if we create committees, that we will be more than happy to dive into and give you some clarity so that we all are on the same page. Because as a community, we care, okay? We do. We care about where our money's going and how it's being spent. And the fact of the matter is, when it's coming out of my pocket, I want to know.
And you should know. And that's what I do like about the Windermere community, of course, is that you guys do care. And I see that. And with you guys coming into the room and being here and sitting hours to pour through this information, I think that's invaluable. The folks that participate on the town hall, invaluable. We want more of that. And Patti Flunker brought up the committees again. And we're definitely going to get the committees rolled out. The issue that we have is there's all this going on. There's huge issues, right? And everybody wants to address them all, but we've got to address one at a time, at this point in time. We're looking at many, but to really grab onto it, and the first call of business is to pay the bills, right? The first call of business is making sure that you don't go under. And so that's why we've been spending this enormous amount of time pouring through the financials, seeing what's missing, figuring out what you need to make sure that you operate correctly. And we're not forgetting, of course, the refunds and surcharges. That's another problem we did. We're not forgetting the co-bank discussions. That's another. We're not forgetting Lloyd Gosling. I'm having calls with them trying to reduce the amount of money that we're paying. We're looking at compliance issues. We have these guys here looking at compliance issues. So we're working for Windermere to make sure that you guys get the service that you deserve.
On Gosling, did you talk to the PUC? Because it was in the docket that they deceived us for 4 years and gave us bogus information and kept that train rolling forward just for their own.
Yep.
It's in the it's actually written in the pleadings by the PUC, not us. Soup?
Yeah. I'm Soup. I'm starting to get a warm fuzzy when you said
Would
that.
you station it for my benefit, because I just wondered, I like the name of the place.
Soup, that's still you too. My nickname. Everybody knows me by now. Now you do. I was starting to get a warm fuzzy when you said that our legal budget or whatever that 3,000 number is was 3,000 and not 300 or something. But then you said it'll probably be more. So what good is it to even have it?
Yeah. One of the main things that you cannot do with the PUC is project your legal fees on items that don't exist right now, right? So we can't anticipate right now how much public records requests we're gonna get. We can't predict right now what litigation is going to exist. We can't project right now. The only thing that we can project is whether or not they look at our agendas and things like that. We're attempting to cut that down, shut that down to make sure that everything's in order. And so they're not spending as much time on agenda work and things of that manner. So those are the things that we can do, but we cannot project, and the PUC will not let us put a number to it unless we really know what those costs are going to be. I don't like it very much. I would like to put a reasonable amount and work towards that number and minimize your legal fees, but all we can do is just continue to minimize our legal fees, continuously not use attorneys when it's not necessary.
But what we can assure you is the budget document going forward will be an educational tool as much as a management and control tool. And by that I mean, as we go forward, as legal fees do occur, you'll be able to look at that budget to see how much of that was for response to information request, response to litigation. So there won't be just one line there for that's legal. You'll see what we mean by legal.
You said we're broke, right?
Yeah.
And you know why we're broke?
I have my own suspicions.
Well, I'm not an accountant, and I can barely read, but we're broke because of legal fees.
That's a good outcome, thank you.
Our past boards, and probably this board,
call the lawyer for every little thing. You know, the lawyers have got a cash cow going here, which brings up my next question. Have you canned that law firm yet?
Yep.
Are you waiting to see if you can negotiate the fee down before you hurt the
Well,
fee?
Lloyd Dawson
Look, guys,
doesn't work for y'all anymore.
they're gone.
Okay.
They're gone.
So we pay them $1 a month, as far as I'm concerned, for the rest of their lives.
Listen, I wish we could, that it's unfortunate that we're in a situation like with that law. You can argue till you're blue in the face. If you ask them to do something for you and they did it for you, it's hard to not pay them. So you can ask them if they got your money's worth or that, but that's why we're talking to them now. But once you ask them to do it, the clock starts spinning.
I'm not disputing that or complaining about that. We shouldn't ask them for all the things that they did. That's what I'm saying.
And it's also unfortunate that the majority of the land sale revenues are going to pay off prior. That's unfortunate, but at least we'll have an amount of money in there for reserve and for future capital investment. Not just something that's thrown, but trying to make things new and better, so. Yeah, it's not the best situation, but it's what we got. The land sale paid off a lot of people you owe, the co-bank, if we didn't have that money, guess who would be paying that off?
It would be in the rates.
They'd be in the rates.
And so we have a couple of issues here. One being broke because you don't have money in the bank like you should. But two, not being able to cover the actual expenses that are hitting on a monthly basis that have nothing to do with legal. And that's because we have to do something with the rates.
May I, Jeff said there's $660,000 in the bank. What are the significant payables, legal, whatever? What's the number? You said we're broke, so I guess there's 600,000 plus or minus?
No.
Well, then we're not broke.
$600,000 in the bank that's not already been accounted for. Or
If we've got $600,000 in the bank, whom do we owe and how much?
Let me break it down.
Thank you.
So it was 1.25 million,
No, just-
right? I'm just subtracting now. I'm subtracting. Then we had 559,000 we paid for Cobank, which left 650. Then you have 130,000 for AWR that has to be paid, okay? And then you have the Carlton firm that we're still looking at for $35,000. You have approximately 22% of the $1.2 million held back for taxes. And then you have a bunch of miscellaneous fees. You have the audit firm, the accounting firm, $4,900, things of that matter. When you get done with it, it is now $168,000. Then you have to add $54,000 that's held in this money market account that you can move out. So it looks like you have $200-some thousand. However, you're not bringing in enough revenue to pay expenses. So that will, operating costs, so that will take out of that $200,000 on a monthly basis until you can cover.
I understand that part. Your answer was, we've got 600,000 in the bank now. After we clear everything off, we'll still have $200,000, and you need to get a rate increase, or else that's going to disappear. Okay. Okay, I did it in 30 seconds, but it took you guys about an hour to do.
So given that, understanding our burn rate is still 20K per month, or negative?
Oh, negative.
But it's more than
45.
more than that. Yeah. So how many, given what you said, what is remaining after if we do what you're saying we're doing? How many months do we have to fix this? Because to your point, we are broke, we have been broke, and just driving the trend for months. Just a matter of time before that number is zero and you cannot get that. So how many months?
It's about 4.5 months.
4.5 months.
$200,000 will buy you about 4.5 months.
So the land sale, in our discussions every now and then, the land sale gives you a little bit of breathing room. It does not correct your problem. Your problem is there's not enough revenue coming in because of the rate structure we inherited.
Absolutely.
Now, I will say also, I'm speaking not just for this current board, because I looked at I took the same, remember the trajectory chart I did? I went back in time to the previous year, previous board. They were also struggling with this same downward trend. Now, they went to fix it in a way that you don't like. You sued them and you got your money back or whatever, for the most part. But they also, and maybe the board before them, have been struggling to maintain.
Because of the legal fees, Brian, come on. First of all, I'm sorry, I really want to know just the bottom line here. You're talking about revenues. I want to know what those revenues are. That's the top amount, okay? Then I want to know, real simple, keep it real simple. I'm really easy. Revenue, expenses, difference. I know for a fact, based on meters, we have a good amount of money that we're bringing in on a monthly basis. So with that said, I don't understand why, and if we do a rate increase, I understand about the refunds, I get that. And most of people here are willing to temporarily suspend that.
Yep.
But within reason, because we have paid out due to a negligent board, and I'm not talking about just this one, I'm talking about the prior.
Several.
There is no reason why we have to go a huge amount of money to pay for something that you're anticipating. So first of all, I want to know what we're paying the new U.S. water company, the utility, U.S. utility. What's their bill? That's the first thing I want to know. Because it's real easy for me to do 1 + 1. Real easy. And everybody here knows 1 + 1 is 2.
All right, so let's ask Amelia about what we can expect to pay the new provider. Now, again, you have to couch this, right, because you're taking what you have potentially from actual, projecting it out 5 years and then averaging it back.
Well, first I want you to say how much is the revenue. Let's go in order. How much is the revenue and how much are the expenses and the difference?
Okay. So, are you talking current revenue? Like,
Yes.
Yeah. Or February? Yeah, your January. Let's use January because we had January. Okay. So the net revenue or the revenue in January was $59,000. Okay, that's column 1. Those are actuals. Okay. So the revenue was $59,000.
Of that 59,000, how much were surcharges?
0.
No.
We're not.
No, how much revenue was brought in January, and how much were surcharges? Legal surcharges.
Surcharges were 39. Let's see here, hold up. I'll get that for you.
I'll give you 21,000.
Yeah, so it's gonna be.
So 21,000 less the 154. Also in January's revenue, we have almost 5,000 in standby fees that come in one time a year. That one, you won't see that in February, March, and April.
So you take out
So you gotta take off over 25,000, and our average run rate was about 25,000. And in revenue.
That's right.
That's probably about right.
Yeah.
In operating revenue.
Right.
Because that's what you gotta look at. What's operating revenue? I still think that's right.
Yeah.
Okay. As long as we're clear about that, because the surcharges are specifically intended for a particular purpose.
So, hey, so on the operator thing, you're getting ready to vote on it, why didn't you just bring a copy of the contracts for us? We're talking about what they're getting paid, and you're getting ready to vote on a contract, why didn't you give a couple copies for us?
Yeah, and I do have WFX contract in the car, which is the only one that we're gonna vote on today, and I can go get that so everyone can see it.
My name's Bobby D. Since we're trying to find some money, what about the money that Dana Martin owes us from the contract and the other thing? Does the board have any plans to go against her to collect that? I don't have all the particulars, but Patti Flunker does, and she's not here, but you know, that's only temporary. Do y'all have any plans to go against her for the money that's owed?
Well, I think Patty would be a good person with the experience and the knowledge, not only of PUC, but where all the documents are at. Plus, she has the experience of where we were at and what we know and how we move forward here. So with this board, I would encourage you to put Patty on the board with Allen.
Thank you.
Yep.
Also, you haven't accounted for the meter sharing, and there's quite a few. They should have to pay an equity buy-in fee, get their own meter, pay their $150 a month like everybody else, not 5 of them on one where there's a 1/5 of each one, and it's been going on forever in the airport. There's a bunch.
And we've communicated that to U.S. Water to start investigating those things as well.
Jeff knows where they're at.
And there's a question as well about, are we gonna go after Dana Martin? I don't wanna ignore that in that regard. That needs to be evaluated, and what needs to be done is going through it with, I'm sorry to say, an attorney. That's
Not Carlton.
Necessarily not one of these.
Right, maybe not Carlton or Lloyd, or an attorney to look at this item and say, is there grounds in which to sue Dana Martin, and also get a budget from them.
Let's just
that
clean
we
her
start.
house.
Just what?
Lean her house.
Clean her house.
I'm good with that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Or
that's
the
the
airport
court,
hanging
the court
the
has
shoes.
to.
But what she's trying to say is, are we gonna spend 80 cents to chase a dollar?
I appreciate what y'all are saying, but I want to say this. If Dana Martin was a decent human being, which we all know she's not, she would just pay it.
And it could start just with a demand letter, right?
Right.
So it could start with a demand letter, very inexpensive, to do.
By the way, she's sharing a meter.
But by the way, let me make this assurance for Lenita and the team. We will not hire an attorney and say, you just go to work and just stop billing us when you're done.
Right, I don't want that.
We will have a budget
Thank you.
from the lawyer before they start
Thank you.
doing anything.
And a determination that there's a cause of action.
Absolutely.
Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to get off.
No, that's right, that's right. Yeah. So then, this January, $86,000 in cost of goods sold.
So on that 86,000 was expense.
Yep.
Against 29,000 that we had against operating. Right?
Well, it was, 59, but
It's
then
59,
you
okay.
removed the exceptional items.
Yeah.
And then $30,000 in other expenses, which left January at a net loss of $57,893.
I'm sorry, 57,000, can I ask?
January was a negative of $57,893.
Did that include legal fees?
No, that's part of the, that's
I
part
wanna
of the
ask,
rate
why
case
is-
surcharge.
Why is the AWR bill, why is it 70-some thousand in the month of January, then February it drops way down? That's one month's bill from them?
February is a half a month.
Well, February is an estimate of the last 5 years. January is actual. So you're right, I don't know why AWR jumped up to, about $80,000 in January. No, but that's what we're saying. We have to look at all these charges, we have to figure out what's going where, why they're so expensive in January. But February's our 5-year average to give you a sense of what that bill should be.
I can remind you, you're not looking at a P&L for the year, you're looking at a budget.
Yeah, it's really just money in, money out. This is not a budget yet.
So when do you plan on having a real budget?
Once we can get the real numbers, the real breakdown between water and sewer, then we can put together a real budget. But before that, yes, we will have temporary rates. Hopefully the PUC will allow temporary rates that may change. But while we're doing that, the temporary rates will hold and pay the bills, and we can dive into all of the invoices, all of the numbers, and really separate what is water and what is sewer, and do an appropriate accounting for what the proper rate is for each.
And all these issues y'all brought up are legitimate issues that we have to investigate. But right now, we have to get the money to come in, pay the current bills.
You can understand the angst a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, it's, the number of the hundreds of budgets we've ever done, we've never been this handy.
right.
So, but we're gonna get it done. We're going to fix it.
We hired a new accountant in February, I think, and you'd think this would all be, I saw the invoices, they're not tiny little invoices that were being paid out to an accountant that doesn't know what's going on. That's outrageous, really.
I think a lot of us also too, I mean, speaking for myself, and I know there's a lot of my neighbors here that are in the same boat. There's a lot of us here that are on fixed incomes. And when you throw a potential of almost $300 and something for water, I don't know where that leaves somebody like me. It's not in my budget.
Yeah. And please know that's not the number.
That's
Yeah,
not
that's
the
not
number.
the number.
180.
But you need to take that into consideration when y'all take this to the PUC.
Yeah.
There are people out here that, I can't go anywhere else.
Affordability is a major issue.
It is, yeah.
When we get the big bill, the one on the top end of it, and you're gonna lose a customer because we're gonna do what Bruce did and put a tank in. It would work better for us anyway. In fact, we might go into tank business in Windermere.
Yeah, exactly. Just give us our money back, we'll all get our own things.
You want to come back to the board member item? I know two members submitted their application.
So we go back to the filling of the vacant board position.
Are they gonna fill the thing?
Well, we wanna, okay, yeah, we can do that.
Patty would add real credibility to your board, because everybody trusts her. That would,
Okay, one thing I just kind of need to strike on this application is the director number position. Unless, Julie, you know which ones are open.
The ones that we had decided that was open
Like,
was
are
1, 2.
open, like today, is it 1 and 2?
No, the ones that are being out for the nomination for the new board is 1, 2, and 3.
Here we go.
4 and 5 are the ones that are open.
4 and 5 are the ones that are open?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Because Judy and I both,
Are they?
Jeff,
I don't know.
Jeff,
Yeah.
Judy and I, when we put in our application last year, we were 4 and 5. So we had 1 more year term
Yeah.
on those 2 positions.
So yeah, so it's a 1-year term.
They're
These would be a 1-year term.
1 year term.
Yeah.
All right, we have 2 applications here, one for Allen, one for Patty. I think they look good. What do you think? No, I think they look good. So I move that we accept these nominations, these applications for board members. I think that's terrific. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
So moved.
Alan, you're in the hot seat.
Oh, no.
Hey, just for clarification, it's an
Okay, Alan, where's all the money?
Gotta find our money.
I had a whole career in the hot
if you wore so ugly like this year.
Let's just throw them around and get them on the board. You guys want to-
This gentleman that just sat down, what's his name again? I'm so sorry. Who is he answering to? Is he working for Anser or is he working for PUC?
WFX?
So he's with y'all.
He's with Windermere, so the contract with WSX is with Windermere.
Okay,
On the
so he's
agenda?
working for us then?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I want to know.
On the
Who's he working for?
No,
I'm not about you.
we're working, you guys would approve the contract, and I'm working for you, right? And what I'm working to do specifically is create more transparency around the financials.
Thank you.
Right,
Thank
working
you.
with the PUC figuring out kind of what everything looks like, where everything should go, what the proper allocation is, and then from there develop a rate structure that would pay bills and that the
And I'm not raising the rate.
And I'm sorry you got
Looks like
cut
there's-
earlier, because I was wanting to hear what you had to say, so thank you very much.
All right. Next on the agenda is discussion and possible action of new contracts with U.S. Water and WFX. U.S. Water, just a little background on U.S. Water, we had to bring forward a temporary agreement with them, because still working through the legal language and still working on the financials at this point in time. In regards to this one, I wanted to bring it back because we approved it last time, but with certain changes and things that it's now an emergency agreement, because AWR left on the 14th of February, so we had to get a contract in place with them. They agreed to do only 10% more than what the current operator was doing. And that is because they're doing more stuff. There's some process sampling that wasn't being done, so on and so forth. This is not gonna be the number going forward, however. They're actually taking a loss with this number, but we have this for 3 months, this number, and it's approximately $12,500 versus the $11,700 that was in place. And so that is what we're voting on today, is the emergency 90-day agreement.
But, and clarification that there is a time and material element to that
Yes.
contract.
That does not
Everybody-
include, just like AWR, it didn't include chemicals, it doesn't include laboratory fees, it doesn't include waste management, things like
Yeah, it
that.
doesn't include any service calls, anything else like that.
Yeah.
That's correct. Just that billed time and material.
Yes.
So it does, adds the monthly cost. So we can't get hung up on a month.
Yes, that's a base fee.
That's a base fee.
That's a base
There you
fee,
go.
yes. And the base fee for AWR was $11,700.
But over the last 5 months, the amount we owe AWR counts up to about 26,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. That's correct. That's correct.
With all the expenses included, 26,000. So do we want to have public comment regarding US Water?
My name's still Bobby D. What I want to know is if since you're talking to them, can one of their first things they find out is why the fire hydrants don't work?
Yes.
And paint them black if they don't work?
Yes. So we're having them first work on, there's a couple of things, and I spoke to David today, who is in charge of this area for U.S. Water. And I know there were some things going on today. There's some equipment that is a little bit aged that needs to be replaced and things of that manner. So there's been a lot of issues around that. However, he says that the facilities are in good condition overall, but there does need to be some replacement of some of the equipment. And that's gonna be one of the priorities, figuring out what needs to be replaced and how much it's gonna cost to replace such equipment. Another thing they're looking at is meter tie-ins. If there's more than one entity on a meter, that's one of the other things. The fire hydrant, which has been brought up since day one that we were here, is gonna be another thing that they are to look at. And then we have some compliance issues, such as capacity, things of that manner. And if we are actually exceeding capacity or not, there's been much discussion on that. So those are the things that are kind of priority right now in this 90-day. So we had a long discussion today about that and his emergencies that he's had in the last day or so in regards to the system. So they're gonna give you proper attention, but I do need to work through various things, contract issues, things of that manner. So that's why I asked them to do a temporary plug of the 90 days until we can work all out everything.
We just found out that the more time you spend doing that up front, the less time you spend correcting it all down the road on these contracts.
Can I just ask about clarifying, what fire hydrants are you talking about?
We only got 2, so which one's
I just
working?
want to make sure there was only 2 that you were talking about. A lot of people confuse the red pipes that are sitting out of.
No.
A lot of people do. They think those are fire hydrants.
We don't.
Those are flush pipes. Yeah.
So do either one of those 2 fire hydrants work?
They've been active in the past. So.
Oh, well then they said, hey, well, then there's no problem.
You're not asking the right questions. Do they function with the PSI that they're supposed to is a red fire hydrant, and the answer is absolutely
That's
no.
better. That's a better question.
I don't know.
They don't.
But that's the right question.
That's the right question.
That is the right question.
It should be, they should be painted black.
So what's
They
the
will,
answer?
water will come out of them, they're not gonna,
Yeah, we'll let, US Water will look at that.
Yeah.
But that is the right question.
There you go.
I'm sorry.
Your question
Bobby,
was
we just
good.
want to get clarification from you. That's all.
we still love you, brother.
Thank you for coming.
Why don't you just pose your questions to him and he can rephrase them?
Well, I knew what he was trying to say. That's what he meant.
Yeah.
No,
Everybody
thank you,
here
guys. We're
understood.
gonna take a vote on the US Water Emergency contract.
I understood what we were asking.
Yeah, they work.
Yeah.
But, right, well, we're gonna take a vote on the emergency contract with you all.
I make a motion that we take a vote there.
There you go. Yes.
I'll second it. Discussion. What happens after this temporary period?
So after the temporary period, I was speaking with them as well for full transparency of maybe continuing this sort of avenue for another month or two until we can get the financial straightened out. 'Cause yeah, we have a lot going on. So it's imperative that folks work with us. Thank you goodness that we've worked with US Water a bit, and so they're more flexible in that regard. But so that's the next step, is figuring out how we can pay the bills and ensuring that we are able to pay them, but making sure Windermere's okay in other ways, so.
Other discussion? Are we ready for the vote? Okay.
Unfortunately, unfortunately, Alan's coming in at a bad time because he hasn't seen that temporary contract, but Alan, you're gonna be okay, or do you want to?
No, I'm gonna abstain on
That's very proper.
Yeah, I just want to make sure he was included in the conversation. So, all in favor of the temporary contract?
Aye.
Aye.
One extension.
And what, yeah,
The next contract to bring forward is WFX Water Finance Corp. Again, not-for-profit entity that's assisting us in trying to review the financials and make sure that the right numbers in place in regards for this entity to perform. Would like to approve that contract. I do. Apologies because of today. I can bring the contract in and hand it out to everyone before we vote, or if there needs to be public comment, please, public comment.
How long is the contract for?
So it's a year, and it's really gonna be the time frame in which we're in play into November the 21st.
do we have any idea what the cost of it totally is gonna be? I'm not trying to put you on.
No, that's a good question. So we're a philanthropy, right? So we're limited on how much we can charge, right? Because we're supposed to be not-for-profit. So at the end of the year, we cannot show a profit, right? So the maximum we can charge is $122. That's for everything, our time, printer and paper, gas in the car, the whole thing. Yeah, but it's gonna be, yeah, it's me. So, and then we have like assistants and stuff that are less than that. So, right, like as of now, I think we're like to do all this, and I've been working on it for probably a couple of months, would you say, Lydia?
Yeah.
I'm probably like at 12 hours, 15 hours, something like that, right? So, I mean, just kind of, so what is that?
Which rate are you?
122.
Oh, you're the 122.
Yeah.
Probably gonna charge more, you're gonna charge that amount. So you gotta give us more time.
Yeah.
We don't have enough time.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
So right now, we're like at $1,800 or so, right, for having done all of this. Because like I said, we're a 501c3, we're very capped on what we can charge. But what you guys pay allows us to go help other communities too, right? Puts gas in the car, paper in the printer, pays the electric bill, so we can go help other communities that are having similar situations like
And
that.
we can't predict the future, but we can certainly think once you've seen the quality of the work they do, or what they charge you, you'll wanna keep WFX there as a tool to help you ongoing.
Just to drive that point home, how many PIFs are you submitting this run?
Yeah, we are.
And explain what a PIF is.
Yeah, so 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 the other thing that we do, right, when all this is said and done, and the budget looks good, and everybody feels comfortable that we have a good budget, I'm sure in Accenture's diligence, they will start a capital plan, right? Exactly talking about what you're saying. Do the fire hydrants work? Do what needs to be replaced? How old are things? And so from that, they will derive costs, right? It's gonna cost you X to do all these things over time, right? The federal government has money, the state government has money, some philanthropies have money that they can loan or, give you at low rates, or maybe even some grants if that's even possible, right? That's the other thing we do. We go out, and once we've done all this work, we go out and try to find very cheap money so you can do the actual capital improvements. So one of the biggest places we go seek that money is the state of Texas, because Texas offers the biggest grant, okay? I'm not saying you're gonna get a grant, because it's very hard to get, and I'll give you an example of that. Last year, there were $3.8 billion worth of requests for capital improvements for water systems. The state only had $313 million, so only 8% got funded. Of that 8%, only 2% got a grant, right? So it's hard to get, so we have to be very competitive. But you have to submit an application to do that. Last year, we submitted 25 applications, and we got awarded about 150 some odd $1 million, right? This year, we're submitting like 27 applications for about $500 million.
Is this all in the state of Texas?
Yeah, all in the state of Texas.
Okay.
That's right, all of Texas, right? So we learned a lot about how to put those project information form PIFs, how to put those applications together, right? One of the things that I don't know that is happening here, but I'm just kind of projecting, right, what may be good for you to try to score some grants or some low interest loans is maybe talk about water loss, right?
Yeah.
Maybe talk about fixing pipes. Maybe talk about we need better meters so we can manage who's using too much water, right?
Clarifier.
Right? How do we
And
do
clarifier.
And then yes, we throw the clarifier on top of that, right? But now you've got
And the capacity.
and the capacity. So now you've got things that the state cares about and wants to fund, right? And so that will make you more competitive. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, but that's the other part of
And that's something that you can help navigate.
yes, we take all this information and we put it into those applications. We try to get it, like last year was all about green infrastructure, natural infrastructure. So we put in a bunch of applications and said, let's put in some green infrastructure, some natural infrastructure, and clarifiers and pipes and meters. So we'll help you rank higher, right? So when we come to that, we'll do the same thing.
And just to clarify, when you said we got 100 and something million, it wasn't WFX.
No, it was only
it was
no, we didn't get
just to make it clear.
Yeah, well, it's we now.
Yeah, it is
It's we.
Yeah.
So it was direct to those communities.
How much did the budget increase in this from the state legislation?
So it hasn't.
It went up to $1 billion, right, to fund this?
No, let me cover that, because that's a really important question. The money that Rogelio just referenced came from the $1 billion that was allocated 2 years ago.
Okay.
They're meeting right now.
Right.
The discussions as of today is at least $1 billion a year for the next 10 years.
Okay.
That is generational type of investment. Session doesn't end till the end of May. That number can go up, it can go down to nothing. I do not expect it to go down to nothing. The governor, the lieutenant governor, the speaker, everybody has designated water as an emergency for Texas.
Top priority, yeah.
So what was $1 billion for 2 years ago, right now it is slated to be, and it's going to change, it's slated to be $1 billion every year for 10 years. That is the kind of investment that Texas needs to make on water. And it still will not be enough. There you go.
Thank you.
So, any other discussion about WFX?
Have they voted?
No, what's the discussion and question first?
Do you really want to come work for us? Because we're broke, remember?
Yeah.
Well, you try to get the money.
Yeah, it's waterfx.org, you can look at it. That is why we were founded, because we know communities need help. We know that people, this is a tough thing to do, right? Run a water system day in and day out. It's the only utility you ingest, right? If it's not healthy and it doesn't run well, people are gonna get sick. It's gonna cost you way more than you can afford. And those things don't need to happen. And we believe that with good support, finance people, operations people, regulatory people, we have people that do all of that. We have the guy who retired from the city of Arlington water system. He's an operator, has been an operator for 55 years, started reading meters in Ohio. He's on our team. We have people that are in DC right now, as we speak, and I'm going there tomorrow, that are having conversations with the administration about how important water is to communities like yours. So if you want to cut, but don't cut that, right? We're having those conversations. We have finance people, we have people that know and understand funding opportunities, right? They get they're called NOFOs, notice of funding opportunity. They read them, they try to figure what can I get wind of here? Where can I put them to make them competitive for something that may work for them, right? So it's all these things that happen in the background. And that's why we were founded to do this.
And full transparency, when you go to their website, you're gonna see my picture there, because I do provide water policy advice to WaterFX. I agreed to do that. I was raised in the Rio Grande Valley, where we have a lot of underserved communities that the colonias that always fall out. When I found out that they were getting philanthropic money to help those kind of colonias, that hit a special nerve with me. So, just so you're not surprised, my picture's there too.
You'll see my picture too, sorry.
Yes. So, but I'm a water policy advisor.
Yeah.
So, well, you came highly recommended.
Oh, awesome.
You really did.
Great.
Well, we're glad you're here.
I did my own.
Yeah, okay, good.
As these guys have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you did mention, WFX is also in the WUTAC.
Yes, we're also part of the WUTAC program, the Water Utility Technical Assistance Program sponsored by the Water Development Board. So that's another thing that, if it's appropriate, we may apply for that to try to get you some money to do some studies and, maybe some capital planning. But that's another thing that the Water Development Board does, because they recognize that communities like yours sometimes just need, hey, tell me what's going on, right? Be transparent here. What is happening? And then you need some of that, and so they fund that to help make that happen.
And the WUTAC net did not exist until the $1 million that was allocated last session. So it's one additional benefit that the state is providing.
Okay.
All right, so.
Go ahead.
Yeah, all right, so we read this contract as well as the prior contract, so.
Have all the legal questions been?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we got it this afternoon, that's why she did it.
Okay, good.
All right, so
It came in right before this.
I'll make a motion that we vote on the Water Finance Board
Okay.
contract.
I'll second.
Okay, any other further discussion on this?
Okay, don't forget about it. You gonna abstain on this one? You're gonna abstain on it? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
3 ayes and 1 abstention. And very proud.
All right,
Appreciate it.
thank you. Discussion and possible action regarding update on CCN amendment application, PUC docket 55840, and any associated matters. I'll turn that over to the board.
No action.
No action?
No action. I mean, what?
Yeah, the only thing in regards to CCN amendment, there was an application that was denied by the PUC. There was a question on whether or not we were going to challenge that and say that it should be approved, because the developer wanted it to be approved. It was what, 4 or 5 connections? 4 connections. So we said no, we didn't want to go forward because we have no clue whether or not there's enough capacity. So we washed our hands of it, advised to go forward, so we would show good faith with the developer, but we could not go forward because we don't know about capacity. So that's all we did on that.
Good.
I have a question, there's a house over there already, where do they get water? There's someone living in that house, where does the water come from?
I can't hear. I couldn't hear.
I'm sorry.
There's a house built on that property already, and someone lives there, where are they getting their water?
Don't know?
Don't know.
Don't know?
A
It's
well.
not coming from Windermere.
They have
It's
well.
not coming from Windermere, they have a well over there.
Windermere cannot provide service outside of its certificated area.
It was denied.
It's a CCN.
Exactly.
They have a well.
Yeah, okay.
And if it gets revisited by y'all, hopefully all the right stuff happens, because it was all done in the dark of night.
Yeah.
There was no engineering study, this man didn't pay for anything. He possibly paid for the pipes coming out, but all the other stuff that he was supposed to pay for, including legal, we're about 40 grand into it here. He didn't pay for it.
We have some pending TCEQ issues we have to address that they have put on hold as we go through this transition and get the contractor on board. We have to spend, not a lot of money, but we have to spend some money to do an adequate capacity study so we can show to the board, show to the community, are we at 97%, 98%, 99%?
70%?
No,
11%?
I'm saying in his application, he was supposed to have all that done to prove that we could take him on. It was supposed to be funded by this person. We funded everything.
So we denied it.
Awesome.
We can't, the PUC denied it, and we denied challenging it. Refused to do so, so we have to do capacity.
I saw that filing today.
So just reporting on that.
Yeah. Okay. Next, discussion and action to set 2025 board meetings. It is our understanding that folks want to see Saturday meetings.
Have always wanted Saturdays.
So that is one of the things we want to put on the table, how many Saturday meetings, and start setting the meetings. So,
In fact, the POA,
We do it every quarter.
they set them a year in advance,
Yeah.
so everyone knows when they need to be there.
yes. And it would be great if we can start doing that, we set them down.
We did it wrong.
So we will have them set and ready to go.
2 and 1.
Last year, it was one Saturday every quarter.
So 2 and 1.
And do we want any public comment on how many Saturdays folks want to see?
Four Saturdays.
However much business needs to happen, but having them at 6 o'clock on a weekday night doesn't work for most people.
It's certainly hard to get out of downtown Austin to get here at 6 o'clock.
We left, you left at 4:15, and we left at 4:40, and it took every bit of every one of those minutes just to get.
I bet.
Pilots. Move out here.
It's a mistake.
You're the one that does the.
There's been a proposal made for one Saturday a quarter.
One Saturday a quarter, does that work?
It seems to me that with all the stuff that's been going on, that's still going on, maybe you might want to schedule a few more often than that to begin with, instead of every quarter.
Double Horn,
Always on Saturday.
Double Horn does it monthly.
Town halls might fill in a lot of the information.
Double Horn Water Supply
Some of us
Corporation.
didn't even know it was happening, including me.
Some of them can do Saturday, or will you say?
The gentleman talked about town meetings, some of us never even knew it was happening.
Yeah, and we will fix
If
that.
that can get
It was
fixed,
our first
that would certainly help. But
apology.
you guys have got a lot on your plate, and just saying, well, we're gonna go 3 months before we have another one, I think you could maybe do it more often.
We
To begin
can
with.
have town hall meetings more frequently,
Yes.
we're talking about board meetings.
Board meetings.
Once a month.
Board
Yeah.
meetings every month?
Every month.
Oh, we're doing
Double
board
Horn
meetings
does
every
once a
We're
month.
trying to figure out how many
I'm
of
gonna go
these
videotape
for
the
the
next
year
one.
should be Saturday.
Show them how they're supposed to go.
Lenita, can maybe you could go every other month?
Every other month for
For a
Saturday?
Saturday? Instead of like, normally we have 4, but that would be 6.
It's the board's decision.
It's fine.
Alan?
Whatever the members easiest to do.
Okay.
For me.
More people here.
Good.
Okay.
So.
What do you think, Sue?
What's the, is it Tuesday?
Every other month?
So what day, like
Every
Tuesday,
other month?
Saturday? Tuesday, Saturday? Does that work?
Fine with me.
Okay. And Danny, you were gonna say something, I'm sorry, I couldn't
Oh,
hear.
I just said Double Horn has monthly meetings.
Okay.
I make a motion that we vote on the frequency and days of the meeting.
Okay. The second, and then motion to clarify, is there every other month is a Saturday, and it's the third Tuesday of every month? Is that what it is? Yeah, kind
doing the fourth, Tuesday of every month.
So you can do the fourth Saturday too?
Yeah, the fourth
Yeah.
Saturday and the fourth Tuesday.
Works.
Yeah.
And we can put a calendar out for the year.
And then we'll put a calendar
Exactly.
out for
Last
the year online.
Yes.
So everyone can see it, okay?
So it's the fourth Tuesday of every month
Fourth Tuesday.
and the fourth Saturday.
And the
Other
next
month.
meeting,
Every other.
the next meeting in March, I think we've already set, right?
Yeah,
It was
that's
on
the,
Saturday.
or no, that's the, no, we have to set it now.
We have to set it down for some reason, I thought we set it for the, election to work.
No, the election is not for the.
No, I know.
Yeah.
And this action does not include any work. That will be able to jump out of this.
Or Carlos, a special, which is what this is. We're talking just a general board meeting, fourth Tuesday of every month, alternating with the fourth Saturday.
And I think the next one should be a Saturday. The next, March should be a Saturday, since we
Go
did
for
a
it.
Monday.
So
Okay.
that'd be the
All right.
24th.
I think
No.
the 22nd, yeah, 22nd.
March. Wait a minute,
Yeah.
what are we gonna do? We've
No,
got
no,
that
the fourth
published.
Saturday would be the 29th.
You're right.
Yeah, the fourth Saturday would be the 29th.
Julie, did you have something?
We had to do it.
Yeah, I was afraid we were gonna, this was gonna happen. We just published that as a work day, so that basically is the POA work day. So that's gonna take the membership,
Away from our work.
especially most of the people sitting in this room are
What's
part
the
of
date
that.
of that? What is the date of that again?
The
Just
22nd.
change it to the Tuesday. Just do that one the Tuesday.
Yeah, if you do that one Tuesday, then we should do
Yeah, do that one on the
Okay.
Tuesday, and then we'll start the Saturday open meeting.
Okay,
Well, and in April, we won't have one because it'll be the general election.
so Tuesday will be the 25th,
Yes.
and then April, yeah.
April is the general election, and then you pick back up
Yeah.
in May, the fourth
Wait a minute,
Tuesday.
oh,
And the
oh,
general
sorry.
election's on a Saturday.
Right, so
Yeah,
fourth
that works out, yeah, yeah.
What's the fourth?
Lanita?
The fourth Tuesday will be the
Oh.
25th of
Oh,
March.
yeah.
Yes.
Just let them do
Yes.
it. Just
No, we got a problem. You got a problem with the vote, because we had to have a board meeting, we have to have a board meeting for us to be able to stuff and be ready to go out on the 27th. And we were planning to use Sunday, the 23rd and the 24th to do that.
Well, the board meeting is on the 25th.
But we have to have it before then.
Yeah, we gotta have it before then. I don't have with the
We have a
people.
special board meeting.
You
That was
you-
special one, just.
Yeah, it's
That's a
special.
special board meeting.
Yeah, it's just a special one that
Yeah.
needs to be done, but basically, yeah, we were looking at doing it that Saturday, now that I'm thinking,
That's what I was thinking of, that we were thinking about doing that Saturday.
that's Friday.
Yeah, yeah. We can totally do that.
I can always ask to move our workday, I guess, because we're kind of, again, you want to do it on a Saturday, and we also have to have one for the nomination part,
Let's go to the original plan.
because we have to confirm the packet that's going out.
So what was our day, Julie? What was our day that we were gonna do the March meeting? What was the day?
We were gonna do the 22nd.
It was the what?
No.
22nd?
I'm sorry, the mail out?
Yeah,
27th.
the 27th. So when did we have our meeting scheduled? I thought we already scheduled that meeting for that
I
one.
think that's what we were talking about, the
Yeah.
22nd.
It was the 22nd, okay. Yep, so we are there the 22nd.
Well, that's not the third, that's not the fourth Tuesday.
No, it's not, but we can make an exception.
I'm okay with it, as long as
Okay.
everybody knows.
Okay.
It switches
Well,
back.
that's actually is the fourth Saturday, Joe, sorry.
Was the
No, it's the
fourth,
29th.
and then
You
the
count
next
the
one's
first
the
as
fifth.
Saturday one.
It's a
Oh,
long
that's-
month, it's a long month.
Oh, it's a long
Yeah,
month,
it's
so
a
it's a
long
day of
month.
5 Saturdays,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
5 Saturdays.
All right, so when's the next meeting?
Okay. March 22nd.
Matt, keep up.
March 22nd. We got there eventually, we got there. We're good. And we'll put the calendar on the website by Friday, okay?
And that's gonna be here. What time on Saturday?
Everyone thinks, it should be here until we know it's gonna be warm all the time.
Yeah.
So I would assume that we would have it at 10 a.m. That seemed to be the sweet spot people like for Saturdays. Does that work?
I don't care.
Yep.
Does that work, board?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lanita, there has to be a cost allocation, because this room is not free. Okay, and you need $5.
Do we want to try to do the pavilion?
The pavilion costs you $2 unless you talk to Julie Newman and some of the other people there.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was that?
The pavilion,
Yes,
did the POA waiver our fee to use it?
yes, I already put that up.
Oh, okay, so they waived the fee, that's good, so we should start doing.
So if you
pavilion.
have- and we're
Pavilion
planning-
free.
Yeah.
we're planning to do our POA meeting, I haven't hit it against, we're doing one on the 8th, and it's gonna be at the pavilion.
That's right, okay.
So
we
we
do
can
the
talk about the
22nd.
22nd, not being warm enough.
Could we do the 22nd? Who needs our schedule?
You need to give it to me.
Okay, so we gotta
Whatever
send,
you-
Julie can reserve the pavilion for all the days.
And we'll send it to you by Friday, Julie, and we'll also put it on the website for all the members.
Okay.
Okay, all right, moving on.
So the question was, where's it at? That's the pavilion.
Pavilion. Discussion and possible action regarding resolution ratifying board's decision and sale of real property.
Yep. We got the resolution. I make a motion that we accept the resolution as defined. Sure, go ahead.
No, it's not about that.
Hey, we're not allowed to talk on this one?
Yes.
Open the floor, please.
You're doing a resolution now, after the land sale, shouldn't the resolution been done before the land sale?
Yeah, but this got filed up with Berkeley County. We're just putting it into our record. You can talk to Aaron about what happened, if you want clarification on that. I don't know, Anita, unless you have something more.
No.
Oh, we're not gonna be honest and say that Patty brought that to everybody's attention. But here's my issue I have with it. Per the law, it has to be signed by the president and the secretary, and we don't have one.
Either.
Oh, but now that you have 5 members. You have 5 members now. You can designate officers now.
Right, it's not on the agenda.
No, I know, next meeting, but it should be done.
They could have done it before.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but I'm glad you made the officers, now that there's a full board, they can elect officers.
Danny, the floor is yours.
No, I know this, we went through this the last time, that resolution that they supposedly did. It was signed by the president and treasurer. We looked it up. It's the law. It's Texas law. That's my whole issue with them not taking any positions as officers throughout this entire time, because for our bylaws, you're supposed to have minutes. The secretary treasurer is supposed to do the minutes. The secretary treasurer is supposed to run the meeting, and we've gone without officers since March. Last March, almost 1 year. That's not legal unless it's signed by the secretary and the president.
I'm not a lawyer, so I can't respond to what you just said.
Well, it's written on here, 2 directors and a vice president.
That's right.
Well, sure, you can make that thing say whatever you want. Carlton did it. Yeah, right, Carlton did it.
It's the law.
Carlton's lost his last 4 cases.
So,
Just the law.
what do we
So I don't
do?
know if we follow legal advice or what.
Yeah, I follow legal advice.
Anyone else want to speak on this issue?
Hey, when are y'all gonna shit can Carlton? Seriously. He'll do whatever they say, whatever that comes up, he just does it.
I would like to know what resolution we're voting on, first of all, what they're
Right,
voting
read it
on.
out.
Does anyone want to give an overview of the resolution?
That's it, the president's not.
You
don't have one.
Is that resolution on the website?
Not yet.
Why not?
Because it just came to us at like 5 today.
Just now, just now.
Famous last word, we just got it before. Just got it last night.
Is this retroactive? Is that what this is all about? It's retroactive?
No, it's just covering for the vote that was taken before
Yeah,
the
there was
sale.
a vote that was taken for.
But it's,
And the
you're
vote
signing
takes
it down,
precedence
so
over the
it's
resolution.
retroactive to cover that sale of land.
Basically, yes.
They got into such a hurry, they didn't realize they were supposed to do it.
It ratifies what we did. Voted
You're,
on
you're,
for the
you're
land sale.
covering yourselves. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
See why
Nobody's covering anybody.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
What do you call it, Joe?
I am surprised though that Lenita doesn't know that that's supposed to be signed by the president and the secretary. I'm amazed, really.
Did we have a motion?
Yeah, I have a motion to ratify the resolution.
I'll second that. All right, any discussion?
Hey, Anita, you're the lawyer. Is this right?
Between us?
This was looked over by the Carlton firm, and this was an agreement that was signed before the temporary manager was in place. We have looked at all the forms, and I put it on the website of what we reviewed, and the form and content was kosher. And this is a board item.
All right, any further?
Okay, but this is all on the up and up, right?
They did the sale.
That's what you're saying?
Oh, yeah.
What I reviewed in regards to the documents and how much was paid in broker fees and how the document was written, so on and so forth, was on the up and up.
We're talking about this.
The ratification. This was drawn by the Carlton firm, and it was found as if they approved this in November, at the November board meeting, and now they're ratifying what was done in the November board meeting.
So when
And
you,
the sale.
So the sale was done in November?
yeah.
No.
November
They voted on
7th,
the
you don't
sale.
remember?
I remember.
When they came out and said, aye.
So the sale was done in November.
The contract was signed in November.
So, just to be clear
So
here,
why did we do all that crap?
so just to be clear here, they're not indemnifying themselves.
No.
No, but I sure would like you to read it.
I would too.
Any objection?
No, read it for these people in this room. It's sitting in front of you. You were a director.
How about if they read it after we vote on it? What's the difference?
Whereas Windermere Road Water Supply Corporation, member owned, member controlled, Water Utility Corporation created, operating under Chapter 67 of the Texas Water Code and Chapter 22 of the Business Organization Code. Whereas pursuant to Article 9 of the Corporate Articles of Incorporation, the affairs of the corporation shall be managed by the Board of Directors elected with the first annual meeting, and whereas pursuant to the corporation's bylaws, Article 8, Section 1, the business and affairs of the corporation shall be managed by the Board of Directors, and whereas pursuant to the Business Organization Code, Section 22-214, regarding action by directors, the act of the majority of the directors present in person or by proxy at the meeting at which a quorum is present at the time of the act is the act of the Board of Directors of the corporation, unless the act of a greater number is required by the certificate of formation or the bylaws of the corporation. And whereas the corporation held a meeting of the board on November 7, 2024 to consider and approve the sale of approximately 6.7 acres of unimproved real property located in Burnett County, parcel number 56161 and parcel 62330, to which the corporation held title of the property in parentheses. And whereas at the November 7th, 2024 board meeting at which all 3 board members were present, the board voted unanimously to accept the contract for sale of the property listed in item number 5 of the board meeting agenda. And whereas pursuant to Business Organization Code 22-255, Windermere may convey property of the corporation when authorized by the appropriate resolution of the Board of Directors. And whereas pursuant to the Business Organization Code, Section 22-503, by adoption of this resolution, the Board of Directors desires to ratify the Board's decision and the sale of the real property previously approved by unanimous vote of the Board of Directors on November 7, 2025, but not previously documented by the resolution of the Board. Now, therefore, be to resolved by the Board of Directors of Windermere Supply Corporation that 1. Section 1, the Board acknowledges and recites the list of above as true and correct and incorporates each of these resolutions. Section 2, the board adopts this resolution ratifying the board's decision and the sale of the 6.72 acres of unincorporated property to Texas Air Lots LLC, the assigning of the commercial contract unapproved property between James L. Luster and Stephen Kern and Windermere Oaks Water Supply Corporation. Section 3, the board will file a copy of the resolution in the records of the corporation, approved on this date. That's all there is.
So I have a question.
Yes.
It says elected board members. If I understand correctly, there's only one board member that was elected up there that's signing that document.
Yep. Okay.
Just so we're clear on that.
And you're putting today's date in this thing when you're signing it,
That's
right?
correct. It actually said that right there, probably the 24th of February.
No,
The resolution.
today's when you're signing it.
Yeah, it's in the resolution on this page. It says.
I got it, but
Okay.
you're putting today's date that you're signing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't be able to sign it until tomorrow because the email's overread. So, it's gotta be notarized. So I gotta do it for somebody. All right, any other questions?
No question. All those in favor?
Aye. With one abstain. I keep forgetting about it. So, yeah, all in favor? Aye. Aye. And one abstain. Okay.
But we just signed this one last page and you do the rest?
I'll get it back to you when you need it.
Notarized.
They can run it down Miss Martin's house, she'll
Oh,
notarize it.
yes.
Before we adjourn,
For a
I
kickback.
wanted to bring something to the board's attention, I don't know. I received this in the mail today. Are you all aware of this email? Did anybody else receive this in the mail
What
today?
is it?
You haven't seen it, Lenny?
I can't tell what it is, but,
It is a copy of an email. It was all to y'all.
concurrent.
What? It's a letter that we mailed to everybody except y'all, my
Yes.
tag-alongs.
Yes.
Yeah, it's from Kern Van Emen. Pardon me? He's the guy that worked the deal.
Did you send this out today?
No, I don't even know, what is it?
I can't see that. It's the email from Curran.
Email it out, it's got his name at the top, it had to be printed out from
It's not me.
I understand. And the email was dated February 5th, however, it was printed up February 21st. And it's a lot of slander going on about what's going on here. And I do not appreciate our board, our water board, sending this out to the members. It's appalling.
And it was
Can you
authored.
read it?
And it was,
Can you read it?
and it was authored by Kern Van Emen.
It is 3 pages long. It's 3 pages
Here,
long.
can I see this real quick? I'm not gonna let her have it, I just wanna show her.
I know.
I'm not gonna let her have it. I'm not gonna let her have it.
Hey, can I take a picture? I have it.
That's right, we want a copy. I wanna know where it came from, what was generated.
I had a copy of it when it was originally sent, but how did you guys, was it,
Brought up the fire hydrant printer.
Right here.
I think only use it one tank. I don't know why we couldn't use the other tank.
It's all Kern Van Emen to them.
One tank.
I make a motion for somebody from. It's not on the agenda.
I don't think
You got one after
Well,
Doesn't mean the word's
What are you arguing?
they said, Jeff said the same thing when we.
Excuse me.
They lost $1 million. Thank God they lost $1 million. We got $200,000.
I'll move to adjourn.
This is an email to.
That's why.
Second.
No, to them. Do I?
Read it. Let's see if they push somebody out. World, you'll be, right away, but down in the future, what put a line, it's in it, and maybe ready to go on fire, and use that one tank for just fresh water, treat it, just pump it in. Did you get that? You get a copy?
No, they didn't get a copy of that. They called all y'all terrorists. You're too stupid to think for yourself, Sue.
Who bought it? This was your myth?
I guarantee there's more of them.
On their website. Let's all see it.
Yeah, George?
Yeah, that's right. He said, I'm gonna, we don't know if this is. So you don't know.
Maybe she could.
Well, I was just telling,
Give them out.
I was just telling Martin, they sent the same thing out when the $1 million deal got nixed. When then they made $250,000 more. And I'll guarantee you that land was worth $2 million. What's up?
I was just thinking, we only use one water tank over there. Why can't one use just fresh water, but treat it, and use it for our fire system?
I'm in.
Okay, let's go.
Let's do it.
Sure, they didn't come in.
We're going in the water tank business.
You what?
We're going in the water tank business.
Not too much yelling.
So I got some. One of the fees they were talking about was $78,000.
Right.
What was that fee for? Is it the same thing as like a finder's fee?
Oh, I don't know.
What's everybody gonna do when all these problems go away?
We're going to sell this company. That's what we're going to do.
In all honesty, you as a member have a right to sell the
Right,
utility.
this can't go on like this.
No.
Sending these letters out to the community talking about us.
I saw the letter.
Right.
And my advice to her was ignore it. We don't respond to shit like that.
No.
We just don't respond to it.
Here's the deal. They sent the same stuff out when we made a big noise about the $1 million, and then they got $250,000 more. I suspect that land was worth closer to $2 million.
What kind?
And why would they all do it? Because they all got a kickback.
Well, we found nothing that we could use to prove that.
Right.
Had we would have.
I know, but you know that I'm angry that Lenita didn't, at the very minimum.
Carlton's gone.
What?
The law firm where the Sisby
He's got it.
disengaged them from anything they're currently having. And there's plenty of other law firms that would love to represent.
You can look this up. He's lost his last 4 cases and cost his communities
You
millions.
would not be the first water supply corporation that let the attorneys manage you and you not manage the attorneys.
Man, Gosling.
I saw that. And I know people that firm. I said, how do y'all look at
How do they
yourself?
sleep at night?
Well, you know what? They simply said, if you want us to do that, not necessarily, we'll do it if you've asked.
Right.
Whatever they did, you asked them to do.
That's right. Appreciate it.
Oh, because that's what you asked me last time.
Where are you going? Where are you going, bro? Hey, that's some funny shit.
Did you hear that guy?
Huh?
Because you guys aren't even supposed to be here. Because I'm president of the thing. He goes, Walker didn't even tell
Wait. Wait. I gotta hear that again.
Talk to you.
I gotta hear that again. We're not even supposed to be in this building right now.
Right.
That's funny. Then he blamed Lenita.
Absolutely. That's why she's here.
No, that ass clown literally can't own anything.
I think Robert's going to,
And
for him, this credit's going to take it.
Hey, and luckily we're both too old to fight.
Well, you know, I've been called so many things,
I've had the sheriff surround the dead so people wouldn't want to
Right.
punch
You
us
know
out.
that I got punched in the face. He witnessed it right here in this building by a former director. And the sheriff's part wouldn't do a damn thing about it.
And I surprised? No. I have gone into communities of skinheads and paved their roads, and we've had to be escorted to our cars by the sheriff.
Right.
So I mean, you can't. Yeah, you can only scare me so much.
Right.
You know, my frustration is y'all are fighting the wrong fight.
Owner, operator.
No, these people are stealing from us, and
Well,
and
but-
I'm going to get to the bottom
but
of
they're
it.
elected.
I know they're not. None of those people are elected except for Jeff.
I didn't
I'm going to get to the
appreciate
bottom of it,
Well,
and that's part of it.
The person that operates this building, like pushing me like this, acting a little crazy.
Hey, by the way,
by the way, that's stop selling.
Hey,
Yeah, this
by the
is
way,
crazy.
that's why that compliance filing, they were cheating on elections. They were cheating on elections for years, and that's why that compliance filing came to be. I get
Courtesy out of there, the only thing I sent you a check for the last meeting. That's all there was.
I never got one for the
Well,
last
it was
meeting.
just sent on Friday. Today's Monday. I don't know where it's at. If you don't get it tomorrow, it's
I'm
the
gonna
same
start,
thing.
Hey Johnny,
What I'll do
he can't
now-
tell the truth. If he wouldn't know the
keep
truth,
recording.
he wouldn't know the
Keep
truth if it hit him in the
recording.
face.
Whatever. Go away. Did you get your last check from me?
No.
Yes, you did. You got the $150 from me. I got the canceled check, sir. Oh my God.
It wasn't 150.
For Helium.
Yeah, what was it?
125.
No, what? Really, sir?
He
You
shorted
want me to
you?
prove you wrong?
He shorted you?
You want me to show you the canceled check?
You got to get him out of here.
Well,
Hey.
he's my ride.
You sure? Because I can show you my Wells Fargo account, sir. I can pull it up right now.
Well,
and
I'll
you're gonna
tell
owe
you
a lot
what.
of people in this room an apology, including
I'm
me.
changing the lock on this door, and anytime somebody has a meeting in here, they better call
Well, Anita has all
beforehand,
your contact
because
information.
that's the end of this.
Well, it was not
I hear
me,
you, Johnny.
That was not
That
me,
dude
Johnny.
lies to us 24/7.
You know,
24/7.
Danny,
24/7. I got videos out there.
Yeah,
Him
I
saying
know-
one
yeah,
thing.
I know
Yeah,
this
you go.
man right here.
Yep. So do I. And he's the guy who says we lost 30% of the water when we didn't.
Yeah, no, he gave away 1 million gallons to Spectrum.
Yeah, that's what we gave away.
No, that's what you gave away, not we.
That's what we gave away, Danny.
Oh man. See you later, Johnny. Hey, you know that's the stuff I wait for that stuff.
Did you get that, Danny?
Oh man. I was just telling Robert, in this very building right here, I got assaulted. And it was caught on video, and the sheriff's department refused to do anything about it. I was sitting in a chair, and one of the former directors came up and smashed me in the face and knocked my head back. And you know, if I saw it coming,
Yeah.
I could have responded,
Right.
but I didn't see anything. And by the time I got up, he ran back to his chair, and I'm like, "That's assault, dude. You can't hit people in the face." One of the directors that took the millions of dollars from us.
That's ridiculous.
Well, this thing comes in handy. I don't know
Yeah,
if you
I'm
watch
glad-
my
I'm glad-
videos,
I'm glad you
but
got
you
it.
can show him
Yeah,
saying
I'm
one
glad
thing
you
one day and something completely different the next day.
I'm glad you got it.
Well, I wish I had been videotaping back in 2017 because we had Les Romo as an attorney, and he was on felony parole, and we found out after they fired him. Man, I'd have loved to bring a camera into that.
Yeah.
This is some crazy stuff.
All right, see y'all later.
See you later.
I'll see you in the morning. Are you coming in? Are you doing your call? Virtual call.
Yeah, I'll just do it virtual. I think so. Safe travels. Thank you. Thank you.